don't know what my hair's gonna look like in this video. Hi! So in this video I'm going to talk about how getting to the real root of your problems is key. Really digging deep is what will truly have you heal. So I'm sure we are all aware of that emotional roller coaster that we can all be on sometimes, or sometimes for years and years and years. So basically when the individual is emotionally immature, so they find it difficult to deal with their own emotions. So that would mean that they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. They feel like they suffer a lot throughout their life. It's basically the opposite of emotional sobriety, which is the ability for the individual to feel their own feelings. So it is basically like you're in a glass box of emotions, but all the time. And we can't seem to get off that emotional roller coaster because we're stuck on the surface way of thinking. We're not actually getting in deeper. So we're going to be stuck on that roller coaster really until we actually start to look in deeper as to what the actual problem is. We are seeing that the surface events which cause conflict in our lives are not just triggers, they're actually like messengers that are enabling our conscious mind flagged to basically say, hey, there's something deeper here, there's something suppressed, there's something covered up that you really got to look at. When we are in a period of active addiction or of suffering of some sort, or if we are just living with emotional immaturity, a lot of times we're just going to try to change things by changing surface things. And a really common one for addicts that I found at least is moving. Feeling like you need to just, move to a different location, get a fresh new start because you're super depressed and all these bad things are going on in your life, and you feel that if you were to just move, start over, everything would be okay. For me, I actually moved back and forth across the country 3 separate times, 3 major moves with my cat in the last 5 years of actively using fucked up, crazy life. So I was trying to change surface circumstances. Really didn't work. Other things that we would try to do to try to change the surface circumstances of our life would be, things are going wrong for whatever reason, whatever's going on, and we buy a gym membership, we end a relationship, we go on a diet, or start taking medication. But by just doing these things, just the physical action to feel better, we can never escape the original conflict. Sorry, my cat's right there and he's doing weird stuff. So you can change things temporarily, but just know that it's not going to stick. The deep-seated issues and problems are always going to come back. Like for me, when I moved to the other side of the country, I did because I was depressed and upset and things were going wrong, so I needed a fresh new start, so I moved out there. 3-4 months into it, I was depressed and things were fucked up and things were just shitty, just in a different location. Only I was in a different location with like fun new bad things to get into and fun brand new people who were great. But still, everything was new. So, and I sort of felt like I was just living with wild abandon and I could do whatever I wanted, and my family and close friends weren't there. So no one knew what I was doing. So really it was sort of just a bad situation in that way. I mean, I don't regret it. I loved moving out there and stuff. But I'm just saying, to do it to try to escape the shit that's going on the inside, it's not gonna work. So just know that changing surface things and physical things isn't gonna change really anything. That gym membership you bought is really only gonna cause waves of anxiety whenever you look at that card that cost way too much money, and you may have ended that relationship, but there's a good chance you'll just get into another one and the same issues will probably happen. The diet you went on, that's not going to last. That medication really only acts as a really expensive band-aid and is probably doing things to your body that's going to be negative in one way or another. So really, surface fixes are temporary. So by only fixing the surface things in our life, we are really perpetuating the drama and the suffering, because we're only looking at the surface of our symptoms. We're not going deep inside to fix the real issues. So here would be just a random example. I'm not saying this is how it is for everybody, it's just an example. Say there's just some random alcoholic man who gets obliterated drunk as often as he possibly can, blames all his problems on other people, things like that. Emotionally, he feels like shit. And the alcoholism he's experiencing really is just the physical effect of a deeper issue going on inside, like an iceberg. Then imagine this person gets into a new relationship, and the person that he's now with says that they want him to go to rehab. And Buddy's thinking like, well, you know, this girl's really hot, I want to stay in this relationship. You know, I could probably save some money by quitting, and hangovers suck, so sure, why not? I'll go to rehab. What do I got to lose? So then you can imagine what's going to happen. Buddy gets kicked out a month into it, you know, because he was drinking on the premises, whatever the issue is. But if he had went to rehab after he did some digging and then realized, you know, that he was drinking himself to oblivion and acting all these terribly emotionally immature ways because he had crippling social anxiety that was caused by an unresolved self-esteem issue. Say he realized that, and then he went to rehab and then seen counseling to deal with the addiction and with the mental health aspect. If he had that dual recovery stuff, then the chances of his recovery actually sticking and for him to be sober forever and extremely happy, the chances of that happening are way higher than if he were to just go in because like he wants to save some money, you know? So for situations like that, and situations like I was in or am in, and situations like you might be, you can understand that it is absolutely imperative that we dig deeper inside to get to the actual root of why we're so fucked up, so it can actually stick and we can actually really truly grow. So how do we get in deeper? One of the ways would be to recognize triggers. Yes, triggers. I totally get that. I know that it's an impulsive reflex explanation to say, you know, that I was triggered. It's so easy to just say that. First off, because it sometimes is funny in situations, I get it. Or other times, like, people mean it, like, no, I'm triggered, like, for real, like, something's happening here. But a lot of the times I find that saying that, just automatically saying that, it allows us to believe that we're simply victims of circumstance. That, you know, someone else did something to us once. So really it doesn't make us have any responsibility for our own lives and our own actions. It's so easy to just say that and just say, oh, I was just a victim of circumstance. So it's really important to keep in mind that triggers explain. They don't excuse. They're there to say, hey, there's something deeper here. You're feeling triggered. You're feeling emotional over something here. That's your cue to delve in deeper because there's something going on. It doesn't excuse you. Sure, of course, some situations it does, but I'm just saying it doesn't excuse you forever to use that as a crutch. Emotional triggers are at the root a survival response. The types of triggers would be anxiety, memories, feeling lonely, feeling vulnerable, feeling angry, pain, muscle tension, an argument, people speaking loudly, certain smells, the end of a relationship, holidays, an anniversary, seeing a video or pictures or something like that that reminds you of a past event or trauma. And it is typical to avoid triggers, especially when we're unaware of them. And of course we're going to want to avoid these triggers because the triggers are very unsettling and you get a very strong emotional reaction right away that brings up a lot of really bad memories. So of course you're going to want to avoid that. But that can really just perpetuate the suffering forever. You really need to start looking at that. So there are avoidance techniques, and these are ways to notice if you are starting to try to avoid triggers, and thus avoid delving in deeper and really truly understanding what's going on in there. They would be to get angry, needy, to comply, or like become a people pleaser, to shut down, withdraw, stonewall from other people, blame somebody else for your pain, and then of course relapse, or turning to other addictions, like food or sex, shopping, work, things like that. So if you notice yourself, responding in that way, you'll probably realize that, that pain doesn't go away. You're just going to keep on avoiding it and avoiding and avoiding it, which can, and usually does eventually, just make the pain worse. It's super dark. I am sorry that I filmed in front of my gigantic window as the sun was setting. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I will learn my lesson for next time. Okay, as I was saying, so doing this and having a good honest look at your triggers and where they come from, things like that, it will seem really harsh at first and really difficult, because it is. I mean, it can bring up bad memories and make you feel really anxious, could even make you feel like you're going crazy, because it's terrifying. I mean, something that you had been avoiding or putting a band-aid on for so many years all of a sudden is being brought up to light and really being dissected. So of course it's going to be difficult, but it is absolutely necessary to become actual emotionally mature and to grow and to actually have a fighting chance in sobriety. So thank you for watching. I'm really sorry that I timed my video to happen as the sun was going down. It's September, so I keep forgetting that the sun doesn't set at 9:30 at night anymore. It's 8 o'clock now, so that's what happens. Gotta remember how the seasons go. So yes, thank you for watching, and I hope that I triggered somebody into no, not a bad trigger. I meant like a good trigger. Like, I hope that I triggered, you know what I mean. I hope that I helped somebody in some sort of way, or at least to remind you, that, hey, I really have, I got some work I should probably do, stuff like that. And this really isn't all about step work. This is, I mean, it is part of it, yes, but I mean, you don't need to go to AA to do this stuff. I mean, any human can do it. Most humans actually should. Every human in the planet has triggers, comedic or not. Like, everyone's been through some stuff. So it's good. Get that shit worked out, because it could just keep on going and going and going, and you'll be on that emotional roller coaster forever until you figure your shit out. So my wish to you is figure your shit out and do it right. Do it take as long as you need, but just do it and know that it's really important. And then you'll be years and years and years sober and clean and happy, and you'll feel at peace inside. So that's my wish to you. Okay, bye.